शङ्करांश भूम शङ्करार्यपीठसद्गुरुन् शुद्धसत्त्वभासुरान् सुवर्त्मनीतभूसुरान् सर्वभूतसौख्यदान् क्षमाकरान् यतीश्वरान्।
सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रीगुरुचरणद्वन्द्वं वन्देऽहं निःस्सह द्वन्द्वम्। ग्रहोपशान्तिं पांसुमयं यस्य भसितमातनुते। The topic of Brahman, how it is placed in the Vedanta Shastram, how Brahman is to be recognized by us in Vyavahara also. So these are the things that are covered in this topic. So in the last class, we saw in that shloka number 84, Ahamalambana siddham kasya paroksham bhavedidam brahma tadapi vichara vihinaihi aparokshayitum na shakyate mugdaihi. This Brahman is very, very clear to us in our daily transactions. Whenever we use the word aham, that is refer to me, that sense is actually referring to the Atman alone. So that way, Brahman is very, very popularly known to us, all of us. But only thing is, we have not done the vichara of the Brahman, and that is therefore we are not able to recognize it. Even though it is so clear to us, so clearly available to us, so very closely available to us, we are not able to recognize that because of the lack of vichara. So that was stated in the last, the 84th shloka. So in this 85th shloka that we have to see today, Idanim sarvam brahmaiva ched bhavati tarhi laukiko va shastriyo va vyavaharaha lokanam katham sambhavati ityaha. So if you say that everything is Brahman alone, how can these transactions of the world or the transactions of the Shastram, where the Shastra involves differences, like the teacher is there, the taught, the disciple is there, then the text with which he is teaching is there, and the disciple does sadhana. For that, he has to depend on so many other factors in the world. So, when everything is Brahman, how can these things happen? And Laukika Vyavahara also. So, in the world, people do go about their business. So, how is that possible if everything is Brahman? So, for that, the reply is in the shloka. Aham idam iti cha matibhyam satatam vyavaharati sarvalokopi Prathama pratichi charama nivasati vapurindriyadi bahyarthe. So now he is bringing in the topic of adhyasa. Adhyasa, where the delusion is there for everyone, and in this deluded state, all things happen. So ahamidam iti cha matibhyam satatam vyavaharati sarvalokopi. Everyone does all sorts of transactions, business and all that. With these main two categories, one is aham and other is idam. That is the subject and the object. So these are the two main categories. With this only, everyone does this, goes about with this transactions or business. There, among these two, that is aham and idam, prathama pratichi. That is, aham is related to our innermost self, whereas idam is related to everything that is other than the self. So anatma is connected to this idam and atma is connected to aham. So that is the categories, that's how the categories are placed with relation to each other. So this the aham is, while it is relating to the self, that is Sulpam. The idam is actually mainly in the body-mind complex and in the outside world. So this is how the Adhyasa Bhashya also mentions this only in the beginning itself. So these are the two categories, aham and idam. That is, aham is the subject, which is called the Vishayi, and idam is the object, which is called Vishaya. These two terms are used in the Adhyasa Bhashya also. Based on that only, the Acharya is commenting also on this shloka. Ahamidam iti cha matibhyam aham shabdena asmat pratyaya gocharaha vishayi. Idam shabdena yushmat pratyaya gocharaha vishayaha. Tad ubhayatmake buddhi tabhyam ayam sarvopi lokaha satatam vyavaharati swam vyavaharam karoti. So he's exactly bringing in the Adhyasa Bhashya. There, the Adhyasa Bhashya starts with this famous sentence. Yushmadasmat pratyaya gocharayoho vishay vishayinoho amaprakasha viruddha swabhavayoho itaretara. So in that sentence is being replaced here. Ahamidamiti cha matibhyam. So these are the two perceptions. One perception is aham, the other perception is idam. We can even use the word thought, aham thought and idam thought. So matibhyam, aham shabdena asmat pratyaya gocharaha vishayi. The aham is referring to the one's own self, the innermost self, that is the subject, vishayi. Idam shabdena yushmat pratyaya gocharaha vishayaha. So the idam, the word idam, that is you or this. One is I and the other one is you or this. So that this or you refers to the second person, that is the Vishaya, that is the object. That Ubhayatmake Buddhi. So these two are the perceptions with which we do Vyavahara, and no Vyavahara is possible without these two perceptions. Tabhyam ayam sarvopi lokaha satatam Vyavaharati. So with these two basic thoughts or basic perceptions, everyone does all the Vyavahara. But fortunately or unfortunately, when we try to analyze this topic, we come to know that everything in the world, whether it is riches, what we like, the people, the objects, everything falls under the idam category only, which is actually the jaram only. It is jara only. It is anatma only. So how much ever value we might give to our estate or the persons and all that, everything actually ultimately belongs to the Jadam category only, and Aham alone is the pure subject category. So the object category, even the people that we call our kith and kin and all that, they're also the body-mind complex of the people alone is being transacted everywhere, not the Atman. The Atman will never become the object at all for anyone. Only the body-mind complex is being treated as idam, and all that is actually Jadam only. So the tabhyam ayam sarvopi lokaha satatam vyavaharati swam vyavaharam karoti. So when a person pays money to buy something, or when he enters into a contract to be in relation with someone, everything is actually with respect to the body-mind complex only, and not with the Atman. Tatra buddhidvayasya vishayam vibhajate uttarardhena pratameti. So these two perceptions, aham perception and idam perception, these two are clearly placed. Pratama ahamatmika buddhihi pratichi pratyagatmani vasati. That is the aham buddhi or the aham thought or the aham perception refers to the pratyagatma, that is the innermost self. Then charama, that is the other one, the second one, that is the idam, vapurindriyadi bahyarte sthula dehado. So in the Panchakoshas and the outside world, the idam is referred to. That is why, with respect to even our antakaranam, we say that my mind is somewhat confused, or my mind is calm now. So when we say that, we differentiate between ourselves and the mind and call that mind as idam only. Although we have identification with the mind as I, that is also there, but then this also is possible, and it is there, everyone knows it very clearly. My intellect is somewhat, is very sharp now, or it is very sharp. So all these things refer to idam, and a person sees it as an object only. Sthula dehado. Evam vishaya vishayinoho itaretara adhyasam kritva sarvopi lokaha vyavaharati. So now now he is bringing in the idea of adhyasa. The adhyasa between two things. What are the two things? Aham and idam. So the two things are being taken, confused and seen as non-different. That is what is happening in the adhyasa. In any adhyasa, any illusion, like for example, the rope snake also, the person who is under the spell of the illusion doesn't say that there are two things. He says there is only one thing, and that one thing is the snake. Whereas the only one thing that is there is the rope, instead of saying that it is there is the rope, he says that there is a snake only. So there is only one thing. What has happened there is he has his mind is deluded into taking the to be the snake. So he has not differentiated between the rope and the snake there. Whatever is coming to his mind as snake, he is taking that as the real thing. So that's what is the adhyasa. And the adhyasa is, the Acharya is now showing itareta adhyasa. There is a mutual superimposition. That mutual superimposition has to be clearly known by us. The sum of the properties of the aham are transferred to the idam, and some of the properties of the idam are transferred to the aham. So this is what is called the mutual adhyasa or itaretara adhyasa, mutual superimposition. The aspects of Sat, Chit and Ananda, these three are transferred wrongly to the object, that is the body-mind complex. And we, instead of, while the body-mind complex doesn't have an existence at all, we believe that the body-mind complex exists. So that is the Sat aspect of the Atman is transferred to the body-mind complex. And while the body-mind complex and the other outside objects are all insentient, we think that the body-mind complex is sentient. So there the Chit aspect of the Aham is transferred to this. And then the Ananda aspect of Atman, whatever we seek in the world is only with a view to getting joy or Ananda. So we think that there is Ananda in those aspects, in those objects, and in the body-mind complex also we think there is Ananda. That is why we carefully preserve it. We spend a lot of money and effort also to preserving the body-mind complex, because we know that the body-mind complex is a source of, or the medium through which I can get Ananda. So this is how it is. So the Ananda aspect of the Atman is wrongly transferred to the Anatman, where there is no Ananda at all. And then the properties of the Anatman are also transferred to the Atman. Like, for example, the Jada aspect of the body-mind complex is transferred to the Atman, in the sense that a person thinks that he is ignorant. He is a Jada, that is, he is not able to perform the activities that are required to be performed. And the multiplicity in the body-mind complex is transferred to the Atman, and one thinks that he is many, even though basically one Atman is one only, but then this manyness or multiplicity is transferred from the Anatman to the Atman. So this way, the Atma Anatma Adhyasa has happened from the Anadi, that is with in time immemorial, or time beginningless time, and that is what is coming in every birth. And Bhagavad has said that the Purva Adhyasa is the cause of the Uttara Adhyasa. So in each and every birth, a person strengthens his Adhyasa, and that gives rise to the Adhyasa of the next birth. So this is how it happens. So Vishayinoho Itaretara Adhyasam Kritva Sarvopi Lokaha Vyavaharati. So this is the Adhyasa in respect to everyone. And no one is an exception to that. Only a Jnani is an exception to that. But everyone in the world, in the samsara, is subject to this Adhyasa. And the Acharyas have further shown that the Satya Chitta Ananda, which is of the innermost self, is actually transferred to the body-mind complex, and the dukkha and the asat and jada and dukkha of the body-mind complex is transferred to the Atman. So the asatvam or the mithyatvam of the body-mind complex is transferred to the Atman to the extent that the person says that there is no kutastha. In fact, in the Panchadashi, Swami Vidyaranya has really brought out that thing. Even if the person does not say that, he believes that there is no kutastha. There is no unchanging entity in himself, in his psyche. So that is the aspect of anatma. That is the asat aspect of anatma is transferred to this kutastha. So nasti kutastaha, naham kutastaha. So that is how the person, if asked, expresses. So he doesn't know that there is a thing called kutastha, which he is really in truth. But then he thinks that that is not there at all. So what is not there, that is the the abhava aspect of the mithya aspect of the anatma is transferred to the body-mind complex, and he thinks that this is not there. And the jada aspect of that is transferred to the anatma, and he thinks he is body-mind complex. And then the dukkha aspect of the anatma is transferred to the atma, and he says that he is dukhi. So this is how the atma, anatma, dharma. A dharma has certain properties of the anatma to the atma and properties of the atma to the anatma. This is the way the mutual superimposition has taken place. Yathacha yuktam uktam sutra bhashye ahamidam mamedamiti naisargikoyam loka vyavaharaha iti. So this ahamidam, aham idam, mama idam. So aham idam means I am this body-mind complex, and mama idam means this outside the body-mind complex, whatever things that we claim to be belonging to us is that idam, that mamakara is with the other outside objects, and the ahankara is there with the respect to the body-mind complex. So this is how the loka vyavahara naisargikaha, it is natural. It is nobody brings it about, but it has happened. That is why in the shastram, the shastram will not fault the disciple or the aspirant for having come into this adhyasa. It will never fault him for that, because it is not his mistake. It has happened by the force of avidya. But then the shastra will fault, and it will castigate, it will censure the aspirant only when he is indifferent to correcting this illusion. So if he remains indifferent or takes a casual attitude towards this the correction of this illusion, then only he is censured. But for having the basic illusion of considering the anatma as atma, for that the shastra will not censure him at all, because it is not his fault. Yatha choktam sutra bhashya ahamidam mamedamiti naisargiko. That's why it is called natural. It has come naturally. It is not a fault of this person. Of course, the fault will be when it is analyzed, the fault will be shown, but then it will not, he will not be he will not be punished, or he will not be castigated for that kind of fault. So the fault is that the difference between the anatma and atma has not been perceived. He has not recognized the difference between these two. But then there also it is not his fault. That is how it has happened. Idanim bahyarthe. So the sloka again, when we read it, ahamidam iti cha matibhyam satatam vyavaharati sarvolo pratama pratiti. That is, aham refers to the innermost self, that is the pure consciousness, sakshi swarupam. Charama nivasati. Charama is the next second one, that is the idam. Idam is placed, or idam exists in, or it has the locus in the body-mind complex and the outside objects. Idani bahye arthe sthuladau ya aham buddhihi sa bhrantirityaha. So now the claiming the body-mind complex as oneself is actually a error, that is bhranti. Vapurindriyadi vishaya aham buddhi chet mahati asau bhrantihi atasmins tat buddhirit adhyasena shasyamanatvat. So the actual Brahma, that is the superimposition, and the error resulting from that superimposition is being as stated in very clear terms. Vapurindriyadi vishaya aham buddhihi. That is, the I consciousness or the I feeling with respect to the body-mind complex is a great error. Mahati asau bhrantihi. Atasmins tat buddhihi iti adhyasena shasyamanatvat. How do you call it is a bhranti? In every bhranti, there is a common feature that one is taken to be the other. That is, rope is taken to be something which is not rope. So that is the adhyasa. Atasmins tat buddhihi. Tasmin is object A. Atasmin means in something which is not object A is taken to be object. So that is how it is. So the rope, which is not a snake, is taken to be the snake. So this is the atasmin sadbuddhi. Iti adhyasena shasyamanatvat. So the Bhagavad Pada has in the Adhyasa Bhashya itself has said, adhyaso nama atasmin sadbuddhi iti avochama. That statement is being recalled and rephrased in this, paraphrased in this commentary. Vapurindriyada vishayeti, vapurindriyadi vishaya ya aham buddhihi, se yadi bhavati, sa bhrantihi moha eva adhyasa eva. So the taking the body mind complex as oneself is actually error or bhranti. Evam buddhehe adhyasatvam putaha ityataha atasminti. How do you call it is a superimposition? For that, the second line answers that question. Atasmins tat buddhihi atat prakarakam jnanam yatha arajata bhuta shuktikadau rajata buddhihi. So the taking one to be the other, that is, when taking the rope to be the snake, which is actually the rope is not the snake at all, but then taking the rope to be the snake is called adhyasa. Atat prakarakam jnanam yatha arajata bhuta shuktikadau rajata buddhihi. Here the example of shell silver is taken. The shell is not at all silver, but taking the shell to be silver is called adhyasa. Adhyaso nama atasminstat buddhihi iti adhyasaha iti bhashye adhyasena adhyasa lakshanattvena shasyamanatvat nirdishtatvat ityataha. So he is taking the bhashya passage itself as a pramana for this, because that definition of an adhyasa is so crisp in the bhashya. Bhagavad Pada has given that as adhyaso nama atasmins tadbuddhihi. So taking one to be the other is called adhyasa. Yani aham buddhehe idam buddhescha atmani adhyastatvat atmaiva aham buddhehe artaha ityaha. So here aham buddhehe idam atmani adhyastatvat. Both aham buddhi and idam buddhi are superimpositions in the atman, because this is being stated because even though everybody is using that aham as the aham word, he is not realizing that it is belongs to the atman. He is taking the aham to be the body mind complex only. So chiefly mainly the ego sense, and then the extension of that ego in the other aspects of the panchakoshas. So the aham buddhi is also actually an adhyasa only. And one more reason is that a very, very, very strong reason is that even the aham buddhi is an adhyasa, because from the ultimate standpoint, atman alone exists and no other second thing exists at all, according to the Vedanta. So whenever we use aham, we are using it with a view to differentiate ourselves from you, that, she, and all that. So only with reference to, only with a view to differentiate ourselves from others, we are using this aham. But actually, when no others are there, aham becomes redundant. There is no use for aham at all. So that is the Siddhanta position. So that's why aham buddhi is also an adhyasa only. So tasmat ashesha sakshi tasmat ashesha sakshi paramatmaiva ahamartaha ityuchitam. So the entity that is indicated by the word aham is actually the atman. So the atman also doesn't deserve to be called aham at all, because as we saw now, there is nothing other than the atman. That's why when someone questioned Ramana Maharshi, we treat others. Ramana Maharshi gave one blunt answer: there are no others at all. So that is the way we have to see this also. So tasmat ashesha sakshi paramatma eva ahamartaha ityuchitam. So aham only. That is why some sadhakas, very, very advanced sadhakas, they try to avoid using the word aham. So whenever they have to refer to the body mind complex, they say this body needs something, or this mind is cravings for something, that way. So they won't use that aham at all. They try to avoid that. So that is one way of sadhana also. So here, tasmat ashesha sakshi paramatma eva ahamartaha ityuchitam ajadavadeva jado ayam sat sambandhat bhavati ahankaraha. So this ahankara, that is the ego, even though it is jada, it is as though it is sentient. Ajadavadeva jadoyam ahankaraha sat sambandhat bhavati. So sat sambandhat ahankaraha, jadaha ahankaraha, ajadavat bhavati. So that is the anvaya. So this ahankara, which is actually a product of the Panchabhutas only, it is material only, it is not at all the Atman, yet it has got such a great power of parading as the Atman only because of the contact with the Atman. That's the meaning of the sloka. Tasmaditi. Tasmad yataha ahankaradi atmani adhyastam ataha ashesha sakshi paramatma eva ahamartaha aham pratyayasya artaha iti uchitam ghatate. So this also is actually a paraphrasing of the last passage of the last sentence of the or last few sentences of the Adhyasa Bhashya. Tasmat yatoha ahankaradi atmani adhyastam. Ahankaradi means the body mind complex entirely, that all the panchakoshas are superimposed in the Atmani adhyastam. Ataha ashesha sakshi paramatma eva ahamartaha. So this ashesha sakshi, the sakshi that is the witness for everything, that is witness for all the activities of the body mind complex, is the Atman. And because the ahankara is, the panchakoshas are actually superimposed in this Atman, the sakshi alone is actually the true meaning of the word aham. So ahamartaha, aham pratyayasya artaha iti uchitam ghatate. Ajadavadeva chetanaha iva jadopi aham ayam ahankaraha satsambandhat chetana sambandhat bhavati. So this ahankara, which is the ego, which is actually jada only, that is, it is actually insentient because it's a product of the Panchabhutas only. Still, because of the contact or the connection with the Atman, it appears as though it is sentient. And here also, a point has been shown by the Panchadashi, the reflection of the Atman is received in the Antakaranam, because the Antakaranam is so subtle and pure, it has the capacity of receiving the reflection of the Atman. So that way it is called Chidabhasa. So the Chit Abhasa, the Abhasa is the reflection of the Chit, that is the Atman, in the Antakaranam. There, it is as though it is like a transformer. The power is first received there, and from there, all things that are connected to that location, that is the Antakaranam, they get sentience from there. So first, the reflection of the Atman, that is the power of the Atman, is first received in the Antakaranam. There, the ego is the one which is the most resplendent or the highest marked representative or the reflection of the Atman. And from there, the other with the connection with the Antakaranam or the Ahankara, all the other aspects of the Panchakoshas, they get sentience because of this connection. So the Ahankara gets the sentiency from due to the connection with the Atman, and with the due to the connection with the Ahankara, the others get the seeming sentiency. That's how this stated. So Chetanaha iva jado ayam ahankaraha sat sambandhat chetana sambandhat bhavati. So tasmad ashesha sakshi paramatma eva ahamartaha iti uchitam ajadavadeva jadoyam sat sambandhat bhavati ahankaraha. So we will end this session here. Shri Guru Charana Dvandvam Vandeham Matita Dussahadvandvam Bhrantigrahopashantim Pamsumayam Yasya Vasitam Atanute. Shastram Sharira Mimamsa Devastu Parameshwaraha Acharya Shankaracharya Santume Janma Janmani Ya Vinay Sampannam Vitaragam Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tatvagnam Vidushekara Bharati. Om Sat.